It appeared. It was fine. Also, who does clap syncs nowadays?
People that need to do clap syncs. This is gonna forever bother me. I can't see my face when I look at the screen. All right. Welcome back to Torque Talks StoryTime. And on this story time, Rudy is going to tell us about the time that his spleen exploded. And didn't you think that it was just like,
yeah, no,
like you thought you were just drunk and tired and like a college student
not
who
even
was
drunk.
like,
yeah, no, it was sober, completely sober, just fine. I thought.
well, no, didn't you? I want to say you told me there was like a weekend of like partying and stuff, and you just like felt like ass, but you were like, it's just like a weekend hangover sort of thing at first.
I don't know. I mean, there were those. That definitely happened.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's college.
It's college. So, like, on Monday, if you don't feel like shit, you probably had a lame weekend.
There were those weekends, for sure. No, I tricked the weekend, or the day before. And probably didn't have the most energy, because I was doing some stupid things, like the lowest back tuck I could do, which is a precursor to the scrotum bomb. Which, if you don't know what that is, it's a double full under a double back, which a lot of people said it was a double B twist, but my counter argument is you flip a double full under a double back. Tell me you're okay with it. I'm just saying.
Also, he takes off backwards, not B twists.
My feet are backwards. My chest is fully forwards because I can't stand up. There's no standing. Anyway, I tricked the day before. Felt fine, maybe a little tired. Next day, took a nap at my college girlfriend's apartment. Woke up with really bad stomach pain. And I was like, well, this is odd. And I don't know if any of you grew up, or you even grew up with a mom who told you, well, if your stomach hurts, lay on this side. I don't know if that's
if everybody told me that. I just would find the most, if I'm in pain, I'm gonna find the most comfortable position to alleviate that.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's fetal. Sometimes it's standing. Sometimes it's just I don't
remember what side, but I remember my mom telling me to lay on maybe my left side if my stomach was hurting, because it shifts things. I don't know. Could be an old wives' tale. I don't know. Anyway, woke up with really bad stomach pain, and I was like, well, maybe I need to eat because I haven't eaten today. So let's try that. And I rolled over to the other side and felt better for a little while. Rolled back over to the other side because that side started hurting, felt better for a little while. And I was like, all right, well, okay, maybe I need to eat. So Amanda made me chicken noodle soup. I took 3 bites of it and then immediately went to the bathroom because I thought I was going to be sick. I was like, well, this is weird. But I've been sick before, so maybe. And then I'm maybe I need to poop. You know? Maybe I just have really bad gas.
And nobody wants to be the guy who goes to the ER for
no,
a bad
and this
fart.
is 2 hours in of me tossing and turning, maybe not an hour in of me tossing and turning, going, I'm not.
And I think it was right after we had the Gabriel Iglesias came out, where he's literally talking about going in for he thought he was dying, but it was just a fart. Yeah. And so you probably had that on your mind, and you're like, no, not me. I'm not doing it.
Nope. Went to the bathroom. Figured I'd try to shit. At least fart. I don't know, something. I'm sitting there, and then I start beating sweat. To the point where, the Key and Peele skit, where he's just or if you've never seen Key and Peele and you've seen The Airplane, a really old movie, when he's trying to land a plane, he's just literally a faucet of sweat. It wasn't just dripping off my nose, it was pouring off my nose from how much I was sweating, and I was like, I gotta lower my temperature, but I'm gonna give it a minute because maybe. Kind of thing. And I'm like sitting there with my hands to my head, and then like one of my elbows slips off, and I like start to lose consciousness. And as like I hit the like jerking point with my other arm hitting my leg, I sat back up, and I was like, "Get your shit together, Rudy. You're fine. It's cool. You know, you hit the same position. Like, you're good. All right, you're good." You know, same thing happens again. I was like, I gotta, or I don't know if I have a fever, but I gotta like cool off, because I don't know if I'm blacking out because it's hot in my head or what the hell's going on. So I started running like an ice cold bath, and I went, no, I'll go into shock. So I ran a lukewarm bath, and I like checked it with my hand. I was like, I mean, that's pretty warm. Like, it's not hot, but it's like pretty warm. And I got into it and shivered for the next 20 minutes because my body went, homie, that's fucking cold. And I was in there, and nothing against Amanda. She forgot I was in there because she was playing a game on her computer. And then
also she just thought that you went to the bathroom, and like,
yeah,
sometimes
you're in there for a while.
We as men like to just sit in the bathroom on the phone, and then you finished pooping a long time ago, but you're reading or you're
invested in a game, or
like you're doing something.
Yeah, like an hour later, I come out of the bathroom, and she's like, "I'm so sorry, I forgot." I was like, "No, it's fine. You're good. I'm not. It's fine. It's fine." Laid back down, tossed and turned for a while. Eventually got up, threw up, and there was a little bit of blood in it, but it was like fresh and wasn't like the black has been sitting for a while. So it was probably from my nose or my mouth or something like that. But I went.
Anytime there's blood that comes out of an orifice that like
doesn't usually.
Yeah.
Or you don't know what caused it. Like you brushed your teeth too hard or something.
Yeah, or like you picked your nose and it like scratched something. Like the outside of those, if you just start bleeding, like you should be a little concerned.
So this is like 6 hours after I woke up. Woke up around 6. It's about midnight. I like stumble my way back in the room because I'm progressively getting more tired and just like my brain's not really functioning, and I'm like trying to like, no, I think we should go to the hospital now. And to her credit, asked me multiple times, "Do you want to go to the hospital?" I was like, no. Because I refused to go to the hospital and be that guy that went to the hospital and was like, "Here, take this, you have gas." I was like, this is not part of my narrative.
Or they just push on his stomach a little bit and I feel better now.
Yeah. I was like, this is not part of my narrative. This is not my story. I fucking fuse. When we get to the hospital, I'm like kind of half awake. Conscious, but like just exhausted. I fill out the paperwork, hand it in. It's at midnight, so the hospital's dead. We go to sit down. They call my name, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, sick, no waiting time.
My turn.
And get back in the room. They like hook me up to EKG and like all the heart monitor stuff, and I think they checked my blood. I don't remember. But they wanted to do a CT scan because. Yeah, I've had abdominal pain for the last like 6 hours, and I threw up, and there was some blood, and I almost passed out a few times, and I'm sure they know my fever's pretty high. So they're probably...
At this point, your list of symptoms was like, separately, not that bad, but when you stack them all on each other in one list, it's like, you're dying.
Homie, how long has this been? 6 hours. Why weren't you here like 5 hours ago? Well, I figured it would... go away. Like, hi, I'm...
Like, at this one time, this happened, and I was fine afterwards. And this one time, this other thing, like, I bled from my nose, and that happened, and I was fine. And so I figured, like, I've had all of them happen separately, I'll be fine.
I think I've torn a few things in my knees and broken some things I didn't know I broke. So, like, I figured everything's worked out. But also, hi, I'm a 20-year-old male college student, so I'm stupid as fuck. Like...
Right, where were you, like 21?
No, just 20.
You were still 20?
Yeah, because I remember after this, my dad asked for all he wanted for Christmas was a quiet 2011.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yep. So do the CT scan. They tell me I have internal bleeding because my spleen ruptured. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? They're like, so your spleen is ruptured. You are bleeding into your abdomen, which is what the abdominal pain is. Because I don't know if you know, but blood is apparently corrosive to the lining of your organs and just eats at it. So the longer I laid on one side, the more it hurt. So when I shifted to the other side, that side hadn't been fucked as much. So it didn't hurt as much until it started to get fucked. So when I went back to the other side, it was just like, oh, this isn't that bad. Now you're fucked again. Like, so I'm laying there because they're going to transfer me to UVA, University of Virginia. Excuse me. And it's just a waiting game at this point. They've deemed me stable and, like, we're not in a huge rush. We have to wait for the ambulance to drive, the 2-hour drive to Farmville.
And we should also just, like, real quick pause and mention that, like, the hospital that he went to at Longwood...
The reason I was going to UVA is because they didn't have any specialists.
They didn't have anybody.
They had doctors and...
they had a couple of college students, from what I understand. Remember what happened with Calvin when this man actually had a heart attack and they gave him an aspirin and closed him in a dark room?
And told him to calm down. Yep. They didn't believe he had a heart attack. Don't get yourself into a tizzy after watching a movie because apparently you can have a heart attack.
Which movie was it?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
So, yeah, a friend of Rudy's in college watched Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and
it lived up to his expectations.
He was so excited.
He ran around the parking lot like 4 times. Full sprint. Just, I love this movie! Like, he's a very animated person. Gave himself a heart attack.
Actually. Like, we're not...
Left arm hurt, chest pain, exhaustion, like tired, super tired all of a sudden.
As like a 23-year-old, 22. Like, he was a little bit older than you, right?
No, about the same age, but whenever that movie came out. Yeah, I don't know.
But anyways, the hospital that Rudy went to, like, did not have a good track record.
Was not the place to stay. So I'm not saying
for serious things.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad hospital, minus that one instance, but it was not the place to stay if you are dying.
It's a small town. Small.
Very. It's called Farmville. Of course,
it's a real place. Not the Facebook.
If exactly what I was going to say. The V is lowercase. I literally had to go into my phone and change the spelling and autocorrect because every time I would type in Farmville, I'm headed to Farmville, it would capitalize to the game.
That's funny.
So I had to go and create like this shortcut of like, no, whenever I type this, you do not fucking correct it. Anyway.
So you're flying to UVA now?
No, I'm waiting on the ambulance because they're driving me there. And it's now like 2 a.m. And I'm waiting. I'm just chilling. They said I'm cool. I'll be fine. Unless. But I'm now hooked up to like the heart rate monitor, and I'm an athletic 20-year-old guy who like doesn't like to stop moving. So I'm watching my heart rate, and it's sitting at like 55. Which could be low due to a little bit of blood loss. Could be low due to me being tired. Could be average resting because I'm super active. I'm like, I wonder if I can make that drop.
He's like, oh, it's a game. Let's play a game.
100%. That was my thought process. Which
I like games.
Yeah. I rung the bell too. I'd seen something, and albeit David Blaine, their tricks, and it's not necessarily like full-blown body control, and there's like some illusionary to it.
We're trickers. We believe in magic.
Yeah.
Like, we are magic.
Yeah. So I remembered something along the lines, maybe it wasn't him, but someone saying that if you fully relax into what you're doing and slow your breathing and like try not to focus on how fast your heart is beating and just zen.
Just pretend you're dead.
kind of just zen the hell out and just like really try to slow everything down. You're breathing, like slow, deep breaths, and you're melting into the thing you are. You should be able to slow your heart rate down. So I was like, fuck it, I got the science sitting right there. Let's see what happens. It went from like 55-ish to like 46, like that. And of course, when it drops like that, shit starts buzzing and binging and things start beeping. And it was like, hey, pay attention to this guy. Pay attention. Amanda.
He's coding.
Amanda was like, oh my God, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. I'm good. No. That was me. I did that. Calm down. No, that was me. Because she's already concerned because I'm like actively bleeding internally. And I was like, no, me. I did that. Relax. That was me. I'm sorry. That was me. Look, it's normal now. That was me. She wasn't happy, if I remember correctly. Anyway, ambulance gets there. Put me in the back of it. It's like an hour and a half, 2-hour drive, something like that. And we get about halfway there. In my head, what I'm kind of tracking. And I start to get real tired. It's about 2 a.m, which makes sense to get real tired. But I have this thing in my head of like going, when you lose a lot of blood, you get really tired. Really tired. So I'm like thinking about that, but I'm also looking at my guy riding in the back with me. He's calm. He's just like checking things, watching things, holding a bag, like hooking something up. And he's hella chill. I know that they're supposed to be hella chill, which is part of my issue, because if they're concerned, you're concerned, which makes it worse. So I'm like sitting there or laying there and I'm like, do not fall asleep. Do not fall asleep. Do not fall asleep. You have to stay awake. Do not fall asleep. Do not fall asleep. Do not fall asleep. You have to find something to look at. Like I'm like studying things in the thing because I've spiraled to the point of I'm bleeding internally. No one has told me how bad it is. I have a ruptured organ.
Like, I'm panicking. I just don't know how bad I'm supposed to be panicking, which is making me panic more.
I don't know anything, which is probably a good thing. And they may have told me, like, it's not bad, but we're going to transfer you. But now it's been several hours. So now I'm sitting like, well, is it bad now? Like, what am I sitting on? So I remember, like, I think this is the most scared I've ever been in my life of, like, if I go to sleep, do I wake up? Because I don't know enough, / haven't been told enough to be like, yeah, I'm going to take a quick nap and wake up when you guys need me to do things. So I'm fighting it hard and eventually, like, fall asleep and wake up as we're pulling into UVA. And I was like, okay, cool. Now what? Because now is when it gets serious. Because now I'm with the specialist, like my oncologist, my
the people who want to cut me open and poke me with shit.
I thought. So we get in there, they're asking me all these questions. They got me hooked up to IVs, and by the end of all of this, I looked like an addict. I had track marks. Not because they did bad IVs, but because I had so many of them. But get there, they're asking me all these questions. They're asking me this, like, blah, like, do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do this? And I, like, am answering truthfully because at this point, I can't just, like, yeah, I'll be fine. Like,
right? There's a point in your teenage life where you stop lying to doctors because you're like, no, what? This guy doesn't give a fuck what I do. I'm supposed to tell him what the problems are, and if I lie about that, he's working off bad information.
And I don't remember if this was after we got there or, like, the few hours before surgery where they've kind of like, here, this will take some pain off or whatever. They're asking all these questions. So I'm answering truthfully with my mom sitting in the room. And I remember waking up. It had to have been after surgery. I remember waking up, coming to, because they didn't put me under. After surgery, I was asking Amanda a question. It was like, did I say this out loud? She was like, yep. I was like, that's going to be fun. That'll be a fun conversation.
Like, how often do you drink? Probably like 3-4 times a week at least, you know, like stuff like that. Meanwhile, his parents are like
both ministers, and
at that point, I don't like they knew you drank, but like they thought it was like
and
like not often at all,
not
right?
Not college heavy, Which it was never like stupid irresponsibly, but it was enough to like hate yourself the next day some days.
Yeah, it was college drinking.
Yeah. But get there, they're running all the tests, they're doing all this shit and whatever. They explain the procedure. Insert a catheter, which my brain immediately went,
You're going to put what where?
Into your femoral artery. I was like, keep going. You have now.
Like,
focus now.
That's not in my penis.
Yeah. Well, so we're going to put a catheter. I went, oh, fuck. In your femoral artery. And I was like, I'm way more comfortable with that. But you said femoral, and if that gets fucked up, I die. Because you just bleed out. And we're going to run up through your heart.
You're already bleeding out.
Still,
not making a mess. That's the only difference between you and like whatever. Yeah.
But they're like explaining everything, and we're gonna go through your femoral, up through your heart, down to your spleen. And I was like, my spleen's on my left side. You're going in through my right. You know, there's one right there, right? Like there's a femoral right there, right? And I don't remember if I asked or what, but the only thing I can figure is it's a way straighter line this way than it is this way, which could cause issues with shit. Anyway, run this thing through my leg, start doping me up on contrast so they can see it while they're pumping, I don't know if it's radiation or CT stuff, into my body, and giving me like anti-nausea stuff. And I had a beautiful nurse, and I need to find out what her name is and send her a letter. 10 years later? Anyway, I'm sorry, I was an ass on the table. Because I was positive I was going to be sick. I was positive I was going to throw up. And she was so nice. And I was the worst. And I was like, I'm going to be sick. She's like, okay, well, let's give you some more anti-nausea stuff. And she puts it in, whatever. And I'm like sitting there. I'm like, okay. And I'm not allowed to move because this shit's in my everything. And I'm like, I'm going to be sick. And she's like, well, we can't have you throwing up. So, and we've pushed everything that we can. So just try to do what you can to like breathe through it, whatever. And put a kidney pan next to my head. And if you need to, you can throw up in this. I remember laying on the table, looking at this kidney pan, glancing at her, and looking back at this kidney pan. And it is literally fucking level with my mouth. In height, depth to my table, to my head and its depth, whatever. And I remember thinking, groggy as hell because I'm on all sorts of things, there ain't no fucking way
I'm going to make it in there
that I'm not going to make a mess. And I'm not allowed to move, so I can't like sit up to make sure it fits. So there's no... Chica, are you sure? It ain't do you want me to just hope by waterfall it in there? What do you want me to do? And I was like, let me just throw up on the floor. She's like, no, we can't have you do that. Sterile field, whatever. And I was like,
you make it sterile again after.
I straight up said, and this is the dumbest shit I probably have ever said, but I was on all sorts of things, so she probably just dismissed it as haha, you're cute. I straight up said to her, I was like, let me throw up on the floor, I'll clean it up later. And I was dead serious. I will hobble my ass back in here.
I just can't right now.
I will hobble my ass back in here and clean it back up. I wasn't fully aware that I was going to be bedridden and not allowed to move my legs for the next 3-4 days. I was like, no, once this shit's out, and I'm like...
Once I feel better in an hour.
Yeah, I'll just fucking I'll mop it up. I'll gown up, whatever you need me to do. Sure, fuck it. And she's like, no.
You want me to wear the booties? I'll wear the booties. I don't give a shit.
I'll wear the hairnet too. I don't give a fuck. Finish that whole thing. We're laying in bed. We as in I. We as in I.
I was like, you and the nurse?
She was pretty. And I went from tricking almost every day or walking to class every single day, to now you cannot move your legs or you could die. I'm like, I'm dying now. like I'm itchy and antsy and like but I'm not allowed to move and can't like, so I like would slowly and gently prop my left leg up because they went through my right leg, and then my mom would yell at me like, you can't move your legs. And I'm like, I just need to shift. So you have to have your legs straight.
I'm gonna get bed sores.
I wasn't fully worried about that, but it was one of those things that I'm my back is like, I need to do something. Like, I need to stretch. I need to like, okay, cool. Like, but I'm not allowed to. And then got into a fight with my girlfriend at the time, Amanda, because I did the same thing. I had a nurse fuss at me because I did the same thing. I was like, guys, it's my left leg. You didn't do anything to my left leg. Just let me move my left leg, please. I just want to like just like a little bit, please. Was there for I think a week.
At UVA.
At UVA. Had to have been this time. My mom looks at me at one point and was like, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Because I had consistent fevers the entire time. Let me real quick explain why the hell my spleen ruptured. I had mono. We didn't mention this.
It's your story.
Yeah, it's fine. I had
I'm
mono.
just along for the ride.
And had zero symptoms. A lot of people get sore throat. A lot of people get like hives. A lot of people like spike fevers or like they feel sick. I felt fine until I wasn't. And it's like, I looked it up the other day because I saw a thing on Reddit. It was like, what are you the 1% of? Apparently less than 1% of people rupture their spleen with mono. So,
but one of the things that mononucleosis does is enlarges your spleen.
Hella spleen volume.
And one of the things that the doctors tell you when you do get it, because I also got it like in high school, it also for me didn't feel like anything. I was only out for like 2 days. Meanwhile, people like get taken down for like 3 weeks, month.
Yeah,
with mono.
I didn't have anything until I did. Yeah.
Right, but one of the things they tell you is like, be careful about rough and tumble play during the time that you have this because you have an enlarged spleen and you could
You take the wrong hit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I took the wrong hit. And like the only way you die of mono is if you rupture your spleen and bleed out. From what I remember. So, I've had fevers this whole time because I'm sick and now have an extra issue.
And you don't know for sure what caused the rupture, right? It was like it wasn't like you were playing tackle football.
No,
you know? It was probably just like some trick that you did or like you tripped while you were drunk or something stupid, right?
Well, like I said, I tricked the day before. So I may have had a minor rupture then and it just built kind of thing. Or normal spleens are like 9 to 15 centimeters. Mine was 43. Which the CTs, the cross sections of my abdomen, it was my abdomen, everything else, and then my spleen. It just went, move, maho. Like, it literally, half of my abdomen was my spleen. And like, you could see it bulging out under my ribs, and like it was there. It was like, hello. You ever thought about me? You have now. But so my mom looks at me and was like, are you okay? And apparently I'm like flush and I don't know. Well, yeah, I'm fine. Because I've had fevers. Pretty much a week straight. And now have kind of adjusted. She's like, are you sure you feel fine? I was like, yeah, I'm fine, Mom. She's like, are you cold? And I was like, no, I'm fine. What are you talking about? So she went and got a nurse, took my temperature. 105.4. Which, if you're unaware...
That's high.
Is pushing brain damage. Like, 106 is where you're like, you're going to start ticking down on your health percentage of your brain.
We are now deleting memories.
And or motor functions.
Right. Like, just complete areas.
Yeah. So I hit a 105.4 and everyone went, holy shit. And like started cranking shit. Cooling me off, giving me like anti-fever, whatever. Discovered I'm allergic to Ancef, It's kind of like a penicillin-y thing. It's an antibiotic. Either way, whenever someone asks me if
You're allergic to anything. We always got to deal with this one.
We good. Either way, if any medical professional ever asks me if I'm allergic to anything, it's always, yeah, Ancef. Because I don't know. Maybe this was just a low thing, and the next time it's like a way worse.
Yeah, I got that with amoxicillin. When I was a baby, had some rash, and they were like, I don't know, it might kill him one day, but instead he can take the expensive antibiotics, because amoxicillin is the name brand, cheap one, and so I don't know what it does, or similar to you.
I got hives. I don't know what happens next time. Yeah, I just noted, write it down. But spiked this crazy fever.
And you felt fine.
Which could have been a byproduct of the fever. Or it could have been just I had adjusted to constantly being at 102.
You're like, oh, dying. My new normal.
Has anything changed?
I have adjusted.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Well, it ain't so bad. I'm a little warm.
I guess this is me now.
Yeah. But they discharged me after a week or so. I get to go home, spend a few days at home making sure I was good. Wasn't allowed to work out or trick or anything. No one could hit me the wrong way, because if they did, who knows if I made it back to the hospital. One of my friends stepped on my back after a week or so being back, and I yelled at her. She's like, what? I was like, did you forget? And she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was like, don't forget, please. I want to punch you, but don't forget.
Who did that?
Natalie.
Oh,
so it's a good thing that she's
tiny.
80 pounds, maybe.
Soaking wet.
Yeah. A couple weeks go by, I think. And I wake up in the middle of the night and go to roll over, because I wasn't allowed to sleep on my side because they wouldn't let me for so long. So I just got used to it, and I just kind of adopted it as I'll be here. This is what's comfortable now. So I kind of found this weird half side.
I'm turned, but I'm not turned.
Yeah. And woke up uncomfortable. Didn't know why I was uncomfortable. Went to roll over, and as I went to move my left arm to the other side to shift to mirror, shooting pain from my shoulder down to my heel, the entire left side of my body. And I just went through it because this is fucking wrong, but I'm gonna deal with it in the morning. I was like, I don't know what this is. Couldn't get comfortable because I anytime I started to relax my arm, it would start shooting again. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna just go through it again to where it didn't hurt, and we'll deal with it in the morning. Because that's the intelligent thing to do, right? And it felt different. It was a different kind of pain. So I wasn't worried it was I'm
going to go back to sleep and die now.
Yeah, there was a different kind of pain. So I was like, can deal with in the morning. So I woke up to my alarm, reached up, didn't move anything, reached up, turned my alarm off on my phone, and went, all right, we're just going to sit up really quickly. Because moving slowly fucking sucks. So we're going to do it in one short burst so it can't hurt for that long, and it'll be fine.
That's like saying, hey, I've got this heavy object that I need to lift. I'm going to do it with a quick twisting jerky motion. This'll be better.
Through the lower back. But yeah, no, I figured that get the pain over with quickly, and then I can deal with it. I can assess. Because sitting up is I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So I sit up, just sit straight up really quickly, and there's a pop on my back, not quite my spine, but adjacent. Roughly the same place as my spleen, which is one thing. But then two, I went, oh shit, I can move. All right. It's fine. We're good. Whatever. Got up, started getting ready for class. my brain started doing its brain things. Like my body started going into shock. My vision started to fade out. And I started to get like sweaty again. I was like, no. No. We're good. Got my shit under control. Called my mom because I figured, let me ask an adult. Like, hey, so I sat up. I felt a pop. I couldn't move beforehand because it hurt so bad. But then afterwards,
got better.
But it got better. And she's like, you have to go back to the hospital. I was like, I don't, but I can move. It's fine. She's like, you have to go back to the hospital. Can anyone give you a ride? And I was like, I mean, Shane's here. Shane's one of my best friends, roommate from college. It's like, Shane's here. Well, ask him for a ride. And it's like, but he's asleep. It's like, wake his ass up and ask him for a ride. And I was like, Mom, he's asleep. He's like, wake his ass up, ask him for a ride. I was like, fine, okay. I'll let you know when I get there. So I walk over to Shane, and he's like, unconscious. I think he got in at like 4 a.m. from driving back from Maryland or something like that. And I was like, hey, Shane. He was like, hasn't moved. Eyes haven't moved. He's just tuned in to what I'm saying. Can you do me a huge favor? Can you take me back to the hospital? Eyes wide open. He immediately sits up and gets up and is like, let's go. I was like, no, I gotta wait. He's like, where are my shoes? No. First he's like, where are my keys? Grabs his keys. He's wearing literally just basketball shorts. That's it. And I was like, Shane. He's like, okay, let's go. Like, starts to open the door. And it's like, wait, where's my wallet? Wait. I was like, Shane. It's like, okay, I got my wallet. Let's go. Wait, I need a shirt. Where's my shirt? Okay. Love this man to death. Wasn't even awake. And I was like, we're going to the hospital. Now, let's go. And like, Shane. Where are my shoes? I need my shoes. Wait, I should pack a bag. Just in case we're going to be. I was like, Shane, look at me. I haven't packed a bag either. I need to get some shit together. He's like, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to pack mine. I was like, bro, calm down. I think it's fine. It'll be cool. We get to the hospital. I talk to my dad on the phone. My parents' house from the hospital was 2 hours away. He's like, all right, I'll be there as soon as I can. I look at the clock. It's, we'll say 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, all right, he'll be here around noon. They told me the helicopter's on its way. Because this time they're life flighting me there because they don't know if I need to go directly into surgery or what.
I thought that you flew in a helicopter.
I for sure did. And I'm pretty sure I bought it. Because I'm 90% sure that Farmville didn't have a fucking helicopter or a helipad before I went there the first time. So, somewhere, there's a life flight helicopter with Meadows somewhere smallly written on it.
I don't know about that, but maybe in the bill line, it has like a memo of like, this is the account that paid for this.
No, this family. They get nothing out of it, no credit or anything.
But just for accounting purposes.
Yes. So we're chilling. At this point, I'm comfy. I'm fine. They told me I have a little bit of rebleeding. I'm like, all right, sure, whatever. Because it's a little bit, we're just going to rush you there and we're going to let them do what they need to do. Like, fuck it. I've been here. It's not as bad as it was up here. So I get off the phone with my dad. It's like 10-ish. Should be here around noonish. Talking to Shane, talking to Amanda, just chilling, hanging out. I look back at the clock. It's like 10:45. So he's got like another hour to drive. If he's driving quickly, about an hour, maybe a little bit sooner. Not 15 minutes later, my dad walks in and was like, are you okay? I was like, why are you here? Why are you here? He's like, what do you mean, why am I here? I was like, you have another hour to drive. Why are you here? He's like, I broke every law between our house and this hospital. I was like, I believe it due to you turning a 2-hour drive into an hour drive. But, like, I'm fine. He's like, no, I wanted to see you before they flew you. I was like, I appreciate you and I appreciate that, but, like, what the hell? Like, turns out, you know, the, like, the construction people that stand there with the stop sign and the yield sign that goes down to one lane on a fucking highway, and they merge everyone into this one lane. And they one side to stop, so everyone blew fucking through it, ignored the stop sign completely. Like, just, sorry, went straight through it because he didn't have time to fucking wait. Had come.
I hadn't heard that.
I hadn't either until I went to Puerto Rico last year. He was like, we were talking about this. He's like, oh yeah, I blew through that. I blew through red lights. I went through. When I said I broke every wall between our house,
I wasn't fooling.
No. He had come to terms. He said, I'm either going to go to jail.
The cops going to escort.
They're going to end up in a police chase and taser or arrest me when I get to the hospital, and then I will explain and want to see you and then go to jail. Or they're going to escort me because they're going to understand after I go, look, I'm only stopping to tell you that I'm not stopping. Why?
I'm just letting you know, here, meet me here. That way we don't have to race each other.
Yeah. No,
you can arrest me here.
Completely was at terms. Was like, I'm going to see my son before they fly him to this next hospital because they fly him with surgeons prepared for emergency surgery. I'll see you before you get on the helicopter. I was like, you won't, but okay. Hi? So they wrapped me in the thermal blankets. All my friends are taking pictures, making jokes about some baked potato or something like that. My dad looks at me and goes, I cannot believe you guys would make fun of this man in his time of need. Like, you're going to beat a man when he's down? Let me get a picture. I was like, fuck you. You're an asshole.
Your dad has a great sense of humor.
I love him. He's an amazing human being and the best sense of humor, even if sometimes he's a little too fast for me. I'm like, wait, one more, hold on.
He's intelligent.
I get it now. I get it. It's funny. I'm sorry it wasn't the same way. Whatever. The thing I took away from the flight from Farmville to UVA is Virginia is a beautiful state in November from the back of a helicopter. All the trees are different colors, and you got the rolling mountainy hills. It's something I burned in my memory. It's like,
yeah, fall is like the number one thing I miss about the East Coast.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where I wasn't really concerned about dying. It was like if I die, I'm sticking with this.
That was a good last thing. Yeah. Thanks, universe.
Love this. This is great. They rushed me into... I thought I was just going to go chill in a room, and my dad was going to do a 2-hour drive in another hour. And be there by the time I got there.
This man is opening time portals.
Because it was like a 45-minute flight. They wheel me into this room, out of the helicopter, wheel me into this room. Everyone's got face shields, surgical gowns. It's not a surgical room, but they are fucking prepared to cut me open where they are. And they do like scans and ultrasound, and everyone's checking things. And there's not enough rebleeding, and this is the dumbest thing of this whole story, but it bothered the fuck out of me.
Yeah,
I had just bought like $65, $70 brand new Jordan basketball shorts that I used to trick in and stuff. They took my shirt off. They probably cut it off. I don't remember. Because I was so focused on what was happening with my shorts. I felt the waistband go out on my shorts. I was like, I can take them off. I can take them off. They're like, no, we don't want you to move. And I was like, me moving my hips is not going to fucking do anything. I walked to the goddamn hospital. It'll be fine. They're like, no, we don't want you to move. They're like, I can take them off. And I felt the waistband go slack and hurt. Like, and I was like,
these were my new favorite shorts.
And but like right before they did that, they're asking me questions, because if you tell somebody you do martial arts tricking or you do tricking or anything while in the hospital, you get all sorts of questions of, do you spar? Do you fight? Like, do you do stunts? I'm like, no, I just fucking tumble. Like, it's like a mixture of kicks and flips and tumbling and like, so it's I don't. So they're like fully prepping me for surgery, cutting my clothes off, and like getting ready to like cut me the fuck open and get rid of my spleen. And they're asking me questions like, how did this happen? I was asleep. I woke up, and when I sat up, I felt a pop. I'm like, okay. You weren't sparring anyone? I was like, no. I was literally asleep. Went to roll over. Pain shut down the left side of my body. Rolled back. Went back to sleep. Woke. And I'm like overly explaining the situation because I don't know what they're going to pull from it, but you never know. Trying to be as helpful and like, nah, I don't spar, I don't fight, I never have been in combat or like whatever. I just do it by myself. Occasionally I hit the ground really hard, but I haven't tumbled in the last X amount of time. So because you guys told me not to. So I sat up and it popped. I woke up and it popped. And they cut my shorts off and the doctor was like, so you weren't doing any like wrestling? I was like, no, I was asleep. And I woke
Are you guys not listening?
Because now I'm fucking over it. Which is a little shallow, a little stupid. I recognize, but
you took my shorts.
I could have easily just pulled them down. You guys could have pulled them off. Fuck it, whatever. But at the same time, I've answered this question so many fucking different ways.
Right.
And now you've cut brand new shorts off that as a broke college student, it's going to take me a minute to get again. So I'm just bitter and frustrated. And I woke up, I sat up, it popped. And I'm just blunt and just...
No more information for you.
My willingness to participate has gone. And they're like, okay, so there's not enough rebleeding for us to be concerned, so we're not going to do surgery. I was like, I don't care, take it out. He's like, no, we want you to keep your spleen. I was like, it's been more trouble than it's worth. So take it out.
Here.
I don't want it. You guys already gave me the fucking like 5-year immuno boost because your spleen's part of your immune system. You already gave me a 5-year immuno boost to like counteract not having a spleen. We're barely a month in. I don't need it anymore. Fucking take it out. I'm done. I don't want it. I'm done. I'm over it. I'm done. He's like, no, we don't want to cut you open. I was like, I will start the cut. I'm
gonna get it started. You guys are gonna have to finish. You
Yep.
might as well figure it out while you're in there.
And he's like standing over me. I'm laying on my back looking at him, just deadpan, just fucking full serious. Take it out. Cut me open. Take it out. Right here. I do not care. This is my consent. I don't want it. You better make the incision.
The doctor was like, that's not how this works, son.
You better make the incision big enough because it is half my abdomen and it ain't coming through some little hole. Like, just fillet me. Pull whatever you want. I don't care. And they're like, nope. I'm like,
Please?
okay. All right. He's like, all right, we're going to put you over here. We're going to give something to help manage the pain. I was like, I mean, my pain is like a 3 out of 10, which I hate the pain scale. Because if it's a 9 or 10, I needed to be at the hospital weeks ago. And or I am literally dying from being shot or a bear attack or something like that. 6 to 8, 8's pushing like 5, 6, and 7. You're like, my shit really hurts. But I'm like, all right. 7, 8 is when you start going like, I don't know about being all right. But like 1 through 4, why are you at the hospital? That's my personal like pain scale. Like, why am I at the hospital if it's a 1 through 4?
That's fair.
You know?
Well, I don't know. Like, my pain was like a 2 when I split my head open. I didn't even want to go to the hospital. I was like, nah, this will be fine. It was 11 staples, so it was definitely not fine. But well, okay. I was like, I was chilling, you know? Which, like, I didn't think that I had a big pain tolerance, but maybe.
If there's a laceration, that's different.
Contusion to the head.
Yeah, if it's just general body pain and it doesn't go away in X amount of weeks to a month, then you should probably, because it's not going away. But if it's like day 1 and you're like on a 4 and you're not bleeding out from someplace visibly, let me preface, then why are you at the hospital, you know? But they wheel me to the other side of the room, pull a curtain. The nurse gives me morphine. Like, do you want something for the pain? I was like, sure. Like, how bad is it? I was like, 4 or 5. All right, well, we'll give you a little bit of morphine or whatever. I was like, all right, cool.
Do I get a button?
Well, so when my dad tore his ACL, he hit the button, threw up everywhere. Immediately made him sick. He does not react well to morphine. So when I watched her put the plunger into my IV and push that fucking thing, I'm like, oh am I going to have the same reaction as my dad?
Like, I'm going to throw up.
Is this something that is about to be like, I didn't know could be passed down? Because we're about to have a real bad time. But I just laid there and was like, I'll wait. When it gets bad, I'll let her know. But like, chilling. My dad walks in probably way faster than he should have that time too. I don't know. My time's now skewed due to like morphine.
Could have been 5 minutes. Could have been 2 hours. I was happy.
I was chilling. He walks in the room. He's like, "How you doing?" He's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "They cut my fucking shorts off." No, hold on. I didn't say fucking. Like, they cut my shorts off.
With that.
No, he's like, "How are you?" I was like, pissed as shit. He's like, "Why?" It's like, "They cut my shorts off."
It would have been better if that was the first words out of your mouth.
No, well,
like he walks in
they
and
cut my shorts
before he says anything, you're just like, "They cut my fucking shorts."
No, he walked in and was like, "How are you doing?" I was like, pissed as hell because I'm gauging. I don't like to necessarily cuss a lot around my family. As time has gone on, it's become more of a thing. But like,
when you're like 20, you're freshly allowed to be an adult.
I'm gonna go make mistakes. I'll be back. Like,
yeah, like you're still a child to your parents, so it still feels weird at like 18 to 20. And you more so. Your parents, like my parents, curse more than your family does. So
and they do, but like it's one of those things where even until I was like
25,
halfway through college, it was one. Well, like after I moved, it's fine, whatever. I can say some things like, nah, it's unnecessary. But like, I remember times in college where one of my parents would say something and like, I like, you need to get your shit together. Or you like get your fucking head out of your ass and think about what you're doing or something like that. And I'd be like,
surprise Pikachu face.
No, straight up. I'm in fucking trouble. Wait, I'm like 20. I'm like 20 years old and I'm like, I fucked up. Okay, no, we're good. I'm tracking. I'm sorry, I'm tracking.
It was like them saying your middle name in the middle of a conversation. You're like, why you say it like that?
Well, that was an everyday experience for me.
Yeah.
Okay. For the people that don't go by their first name, or for the people that don't go by their middle name at home.
Yeah.
It's you get your full name.
Mr. 5 names.
Yeah. But he walks in the room. How are you doing? I was like, pissed as hell. He's like, why? He's like, they cut my shorts off. I was like, okay, well, besides that, how are you doing? I was like, high as shit. And he's like, what'd they give me? I was like, morphine. He was like, it doesn't work for me. I was like, I know. I was concerned. I'm fine. But yeah, they couldn't figure out. I spent probably another week there. They're like, we're doing tests, scanning things. Couldn't figure it out. The whole time they were explaining my spleen hasn't shrunk much, if any, and you may never trick again or be able to tumble or anything because if you take the fall or take the wrong hit or whatever, who knows if you make it back. And my dad straight up looks at them. I'm in the bed. He looks at them and goes, you might have to cut his leg off if you want that to happen. I was like, do not give them ideas. Stop it. Everyone laughed, but he meant it as a joke, and I also meant it as a joke. But at the same time, I was like, stop. No. Don't encourage them.
Because there was a small part of Rudy's dad that was like, but really.
My son's stubborn as fuck. He'll find a way.
Like, he'll just keep doing them.
Yeah. And they,
which obviously he did.
I got cleared.
Well,
hold on. I'll get there. So anyway, I'm chilling there. Can't figure anything out. I'm thinking about how badly I want to pop my back, and then I'm thinking about how like sometimes your back doesn't pop all the way straight up, and there's like some that sit just to the left of your or right of your spine. I'm like, my doctors come in to like have a conference, talk to us about things. And I was like, I'm not obviously a doctor, so tell me if this sounds stupid. But could it have been I sat up and I had a dislocated rib, and when I sat up, because I sat up quickly and flexed everything, I clicked it back in. Anyway, speaking of, we hadn't thought about that. That honestly explains where the pop was, what the pain you felt along your spine and everything. I mean, maybe.
Detective Meadows solved the case.
And then after they left the room, I like sat back in my bed further than I already was, and I was like, I'm fucking here, paying insurance, my family.
I bought another helicopter.
Paying way the fuck too much money. And they cut my fucking new shorts off. I was still on that. Because I had a dislocated rib that I fixed my fucking self. I want to go home now. Like, I'm done. And, like, wouldn't let me out, made sure everything else was good. Spleen's still huge. Let me go home. Never really had an issue with that rib again until, like, the last year. With my chest and stuff. Because I like, can sit and, like, can feel it not sitting right. And just, like, I'm like, oh, cool. I assume it's the same one. Feels roughly the same spot. And maybe just its connection
like that one pops in and out.
Its connection is weak. Yeah, I don't know. But to get what you were... Well, I had, like, monthly ultrasounds to see...
If he was allowed to move again.
Yeah, because what they did during the procedures, they used this spongy stuff to shut off blood flow to half my spleen. Killing half my spleen, stopping the bleeders. What have you. Hypothetically, that should be... that should die. And then be reabsorbed to the body. Because they don't need to take it out of the body. It'll find a purpose, turn it into waste, turn it into something else. Get it out. The spleen potentially can regenerate, from what they told me. So it's a matter of the swelling to go down and it to figure out its new form, new whatever, let everything else die, make sure nothing else is an issue, make sure it's back to normal size. I don't know if I have half a spleen or a full spleen. I don't know. Could be something if I find a couple grand and want to go, hey, ultrasound me, tell me if I got a full spleen. But several ultrasounds, 8-9 months before they're like, you're good to go. Start light, obviously, because you haven't done anything for a while, but you can resume normal activity. I had already done...
What does normal activity mean?
I think... yeah. I had already done a few corks.
Every time he, like... This was...
But this is like six months in.
Yeah, no. Several months after he was, like, at home and, like, back at school and, like, living his life, but...
Felt way better. Nothing, like... Can't see it anymore.
Yeah, but
like...
that whole summer, he wasn't allowed... Because it was early, right? It was like May,
November.
April. Okay, so it was at the end, and then...
Towards the summer is when I started.
Following summer, when he came back from college, that's when, like, me and Hunter and Kyle were hanging around a lot, and we would be tricking because we're all able-bodied at that point. And Rudy would just have to, like, hang out. And every now and then, he would get up and do something, and everyone would be like, no, sit, no, stop, no, sit down.
I do
like... Treated him like a dog getting into the trash. Like,
yeah.
Get out.
I do, like...
Out.
A cork. But I always made sure there was nothing, like... wrenching. It was just like super like controlled and floaty and smooth, and like one of those like there's zero impact on landing. Or I do like after a long enough time had passed, I do like a cork or something like that. But that was literally the one thing for the entire session for like 2 weeks.
And every time they were like really good and really clean and very soft and gentle.
Because I knew if I fucked it up, I was back to where I was.
And so it was one of those things where, like, as soon as we were done yelling at him and telling him no, it was like, that was really good. And
for not doing anything for like 6 months, bro, that was fucking really good.
I want to see more when you're allowed. But no, because I want to see you do more.
But I think they gave me the all clear. Went back for an ultrasound. They're like, no, you're good. Like, it's back to where it should be. You are good. Haven't had any bleeding issues. Haven't had anything. Like, you are cleared. I was like, so, like, I can do whatever the hell I want cleared, or, like, I should take it easy cleared. And they were like, no, you are good to go back to what you were doing. What I was doing, or, like, working back to what I was doing. Like, no, you're good. I was like, all right. I think the next session I was trying...
You said this to me.
Mm-hmm. I think the next session I was trying triple full pop flash. I got cleared, and like that was probably a Monday or whatever. No, it couldn't have been. That was probably a Wednesday. The next Tuesday, I was doing trying triple full pop flashes. There's a clip in randomness where I do pop flash directly to my face. Because I had zero control over anything, but I had all the power because I lost like 20 pounds. But like due to moving and like after I was okay to move, like due to like lifting very lightly or whatever, I'd maintained strength. So I was just sending things. I was like, this is just what it meant to be. Oh man. Yeah, so I guess how I almost died.
And he's still, like you mentioned, we don't know if he has a full spleen or half a spleen.
I think I do because we hit that 5-year mark after we moved here. No.
Yeah, it was after.
That was 2010.
Yeah,
and it was after here. After we moved here, we hit that 5-year mark, and I straight up looked at everyone and was like, hey, I'm coming up on this fucking expiration date of my immuno booster, so if I tank real quick, we're about to find how much of a spleen I have. Like, if I all of a sudden get, like, hella sick out of nowhere. Wait, we function with halfsies. But I've had a couple athletes that come in with mono. And I'm like, yeah, so I have mono. My doctors told me to take it light. And I'm like, yeah, take it light. You go sit the fuck down over there. And you don't touch anything. Don't move. No one's allowed to touch you. Like,
they're like, what? Whoa, why are you freaking out? You're like, listen, son.
I had one girl was like, Rudy, will you pop my back? Like, she already told me she had mono. I was like, no. She's like, can I work on this trigger? I was like, no. She's like, well, will you at least pop my? I was like, no. So she's like all huffy and puffy. And I was like, why is this the day that you want to do things, miss? I've not done anything the entire rest of this season. And then she like walks over and is like, well, will somebody pop my back? And I straight up looked at her and looked at the entire team. I was like, if anyone touches her, you guys are all kicked out. I'm not even joking. Try me. If anyone tries to pop her back, all of you can go home. Dead serious. And they're all like, what the hell are you talking? I was like, do you know what happens when you have mono and your spleen is engulfed or enlarged? Enlarged, thank you. What is on my face? Enlarged, and you apply pressure to it the wrong way, maybe the right way.
You ever squeeze a balloon real hard?
And it like, balloon? Your organs don't necessarily do that correctly. She's like, what the hell? And I was like, coming from someone who has had a ruptured spleen, touch her and everyone leaves. Serious. Right now. Dead serious. Fight me. Let's go. Like, and they're like, wait, what? And I was like, story for a different time. Right now I'm telling you, you go sit in a corner. You're in timeout.
Like, not only is it unpleasant for the participant, but that shit's expensive.
And if I know that you have mono and I pop your back and you don't make it to the hospital, I just killed you. How's a high schooler going to live with that? Right? Like, I just killed one of my friends trying to pop their back. Cool. I'm not going to sleep ever again. I don't know. I'm real finicky about mono because I had an extreme experience, but at the same time I figured rather safe than sorry in this one instance where...
You're the guy who got struck by lightning who when it starts thundering, you go... Hey,
we should get inside.
Hey, you in the fucking field. No. No. Fuck. Get in here. Get in the fucking thing.
I'll be fine.
You're like, this is a huge field. There's a tree right there. The tree's gonna get hit. I'll be fine. You're like, listen.
5 feet behind him. Yo, why were you telling me inside? Pulls up his shirt. There's a fucking tree scar. I was like, this is why. Yeah. So that was a thing that happened to me. It's a journey. I think
that was how I met you right after that, I think you were just starting to come back.
You met me in high school, but you started met you for tricking.
Like for like a deeper friendship. Like we knew each other of like, oh, I know his name and like we could have a conversation and like he showed me tricking years before I actually realized what it meant.
I want to say this is roughly the same time that I was trying to teach you how to cork or full or something like that, and I told you every fucking way I knew possible, and then somebody who didn't trick walked up and went, hey, you should probably try it this way, and you went, oh my god, that makes so much sense, which I had said before.
Yep.
Verbatim,
literally
word
the same
for word.
words in the same format with the same cadence.
If it were written down, the shit would have been plagiarism. Like, and Dylan was like, oh my god, I've never thought about it like that. And I went, fuck you, I'm leaving. And it worked. Normally when someone says something that's the same thing, they say it little bit different verbiage.
Maybe that's why I learned so much conceptually so fast, because you were just so broken. So you were like, oh, I can't trick. Let me just like talk to this new kid. He's interested. I'll just tell him shit. I'll throw the kitchen sink at him. Holy shit, he caught it. Like,
here, this is what this means. 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 These are these stances that we know of thus far because we haven't delved into.
Now I can't do them all.
I can walk,
but I understand them.
Yeah. I can walk you through everything that you want to know and give you everything that I have to offer because I cannot do anything right now. And I was like, all right, that makes sense. I'm like,
really? That makes sense to you?
You came with him. Your name's Hunter, right? Here's all the same information. Did he just walk away?
He just said nope. Nope.
I don't know.
You want to show me how to do something? I'll do it.
Damn it. I'm gonna start laughing. Maybe. Nope.
Insert cricket noise.
Give me about 5 minutes of not thinking about the idea, and I'll be able to do it. Hunter understood movements, but then as soon as you explained it to him, he went, I don't know what you're saying. I'm gonna just go try it. I'm like,
yeah,
okay. Make sure you flip. I understood that. Okay. Good luck. Lands him flat on his ass, stands up. I was like, that didn't work. He's like, you didn't flip. I was like, I forgot about that. I was like, okay.
But yeah, no, for the first while of
damn it.
of Hunter and I learning tricking, Rudy basically was bedridden, but he was allowed to leave the house. But he was effectively bedridden. He wasn't supposed to be doing anything, so he was just like, I'm just gonna play with these kids.
RC tricker.
And figure out how much they're capable of. Turns out some and not some. Like there are some things that quickly I grasp, and I was like, oh, I can translate these into reality in movement, and I did, and that was cool. And then there are other things where I was like, no. Not because I didn't understand it, just no.
It's like, I mean, I was twisting for you for a long time. It's like, we talk about it, and you're like, no, I get it. And I'm like, all right, now do it. And you're like, nope. I'm like, why? You get it? And I'm like, yeah, no, I, as soon as I'm in the air, my body goes, what? And my brain goes, I don't know where the fuck we are, what planet we are, and anything. But like watching you do it, I fully understand. Like you rotate and your axis change, and you like spot everything. I get it. But as soon as I'm in the air, I just.
There is a full fundamental breakdown in concept and reality. And personally, I ran out of ink, and I don't know how to draw the map between these two things yet. Eventually, I figured that out. I could do those things. I just choose not to.
I mean, that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. But I can do them. That feels cool.
It does feel cool to move. It does feel. It feels really cool.
I still do them on the trampoline. The ground is hard.
You get used to hitting.
I need to just quit being a little bitch and go back to tricking. The world beats you down when you just like go to work all the time and you feel sore, and then you're like, well, but that hurts, and then I gotta deal with hurt the next day, and then that compounds and it adds, and it's just excuses for being a bitch is really what it is.
Do you remember, I don't remember what gathering it was, we had to wrap this up because we like completely tangented. Do you remember, I don't remember what gathering it was, when I tried to do flail double full? but I flailed like one too many times, and when I went to wrap, it was like a car stalling. And I made it like, I'm already halfway through a twist. I made it like maybe 1.5. I did make it 1.5 because I was like flat on my back from like 10 feet up because I stood up to give myself plenty of time. Hit the ground, and like sat up. I was like, well, fuck. All right, now I'm good. Like, but I wasn't expecting that. And Nick walks over to me and goes, when was the last time you hit the ground that hard? And I was like, I don't remember. I do not remember when the last time I just plummeted out of the sky.
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while.
Oh, man. It had been at least like 4 or 5 years of me at least getting my feet down. Or at least like getting my hip and my knee down in a place or whatever. It had been like I said, like 4, maybe 5 years, if not longer, since I just fucking plummeted and just bounced. And it was like...
I haven't been lost upside down in a while.
I'll be honest, I don't know why they didn't work. Good night. I suppose that's where we wrap it up.
Yeah. Let me swap that real quick so we can do a proper goodbye.
So right now, Dylan is swapping the camera batteries because the camera died because we have been talking for an hour and 12 minutes.
Usually I just turn it into an ad and make them stare at the wall.
I wish I had a pitch. Oh, there we go. But yeah. That has been...
And that was the story about the time that Rudy's spleen exploded.
What a way to come at just sit down. And that was the time.
It was. That was the story.
It was. I'm sure my mom listened to the one about MGO jail.
Oh, good.
And there were things that I either didn't remember.
Or didn't know, wasn't told.
Or chose to leave out due to like circumstance of things.
Well, you were also 20 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are things that like there are
my
stories that my parents didn't find out about until like 3 or 4 years after I had moved across the country. And then I was like, no, you'll appreciate this from like a ha-ha standpoint.
Yeah,
but like,
no, this
only
was...
because you haven't had to actually parent me in like half a decade.
This was straight up just, hey, Dad, I fucked up. So they knew from the get-go. But she was listening to it. She's like, yeah, there were some times when you said that you couldn't remember that I could have interjected and told you some things. And I was like, yeah, it was either I didn't remember because my priorities were set somewhere else at the time. So that wasn't going to be a lasting memory. It was this is important now. Or things that I didn't like, this doesn't need to be like gotten into or like pertinent to my story or whatever. Or I just full blown, fuck it, whatever. But she shared, was like, I could have helped tell that. I was like, I'm sure you could have. Please don't. But yeah, story of me trying to die. One of the times that I've tried to die. Apparently, another time I had a fever of 105.4-ish when I was an infant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, double ear infections. So that's apparently 2 times I've tried to cook this thing in my head. It turned out fine.
I thought Rudy was dying on me when we arrived in Vegas, and we'll save that for the next time. But this man just started bleeding out of his face. And as we mentioned earlier in this episode, anytime your orifices just start bleeding, it's a call for concern. So we'll leave it on that time. Till next time, check out TorqueTricking.com, buy a shirt, and we'll keep telling you some stories.
Later, guys.